Hello, and welcome to today's stream. Or should I say, welcome to today's stream. We are in the spaceship, my spaceship, that is currently on the ground. That's why it's so bright in here. But I have been doing some work over the weekend. I was going to stream on Saturday, but unfortunately I've had a cold the past 4 or 5 days, and I started crashing on Friday, and Saturday I just did not feel up to streaming. Sunday did not feel up to streaming. Today I'm mostly feeling better. I'm on the tail end of it, so we'll see how far I go for. But I have been doing some work. I have worked on my overlay. I've worked on polishing a few things. I've worked on tidying some stuff up. I've worked on, quite a lot. To be frank, I've been doing some Blender stuff and basically trying to make things a bit more realistic. So how can we make things a bit more realistic? Well, I have my Pilky box here, that in the corner, but maybe there's been something inside the box. Maybe the real Pilky box was inside me all along. And this is it. There's still quite a bit of work to be done, but there's now a 3D Pilkybot that can zoom around and show you everything. I am no longer just a cardboard box. I have multiple dimensions, and not only that, I have some tricks. Fairly simple tricks at the moment, but I can spin round, I can go down, I can look up, I can even see you upside down. So, this is the Pokebot. You'll notice that I haven't got much in the way of textures, they're mostly simple. I've got a sticker on my back. That is there primarily because if I look like this, I don't know which way is forward. So, doing it this way, I can always tell which way is forward. But I can move around, I can, let's have a look outside. Seems nice out there, kind of empty. Maybe we'll fill that up at some point. I can also look down here and have a look under the table. Floor again is a bit bare, but well, things are looking alright. At least so far. Well, this is me playing around, learning how to rig things in Unity, because this is all rigged up. Learning how to make sure the rig rotates correctly and moves stuff around. So, this is all looking pretty great at the moment. But what we are going to do is actually not work on this. Hello, Sinister! Yes, I am no longer a box. Or rather, I'm a box, but I'm a box with a wheel and a monitor on top. And look at my tricks. I can spin around. I can move my head down. I can look up. I can look down. I can look upside down. And then I can switch back to where I want it to be. So, it took a while to decide what I wanted to be. So, the screen originally I did it where it was a screen and it was sort of a bubble around the back. But the problem is getting any sort of rounded shape to look good in 3D when you're not like hiding it with textures and everything requires a lot of polygons. Because things that, I mean, I can show you a little bit. Let's see. I mean, you can see a bit on the back. It's probably still a bit crunchy on stream, but you can see a little bit on the column at the back how pixelated it is. But when it was something as big as the entire back of the screen, it was a bit crunchy. Same with the box. If I wanted to go and make it look rounded like this, well then it started requiring a lot of polygons to make it not very crunchy. So what I realised is, for far less polygons, you can actually get something that's rounded if you just use rounded rectangles or rounded off cubes. If I just round the corners on some cubes, then suddenly it all works. And I was initially thinking, oh, I'll make myself look a bit like an eMac. So the eMac was the old G4 white, basically an iMac, one of the original iMacs, but it was all in white and it was designed for the education market. But then I realised, oh wait, no. My neck, rather than it being like an up-down piss thing, why don't I just make it look like the iMac G4? And this is actually very similar to the iMac G4. And the iMac G4 was basically just a screen like this. And then I was figuring out the bottom and thought, well, let's just make it a cube. And then it's like, okay, well, what sort of cube can I make it? Well, why not like the G4 cube? So the G4 cube and the G4 iMac, two Macs that I wanted but could never have, two of my favourite Mac designs ever. I just basically melded the basic shapes together. So, ooh, I can spin around like that. It's going to get take a little while to get used to, but because I have left analog stick is move around, right analog stick, if I move it left, right, rotates me there, up and down on the left analog stick rotates me around there, and then if I hold R1 while I use the analog stick, I can look up and I can look down. Now there are some things that go a bit wrong, such as if I do that, then I can't shift back and forward because it gets a little bit weird. But I've got a reset button on there, so are you saying that I can be expressive? Well, don't think I can be that expressive at the moment because I'm just a plain screen. But I do want to play around with this. See, I've been thinking, what if my face change? See what I can do, and I'll let you know the secret here. I think I can make this texture have multiple layers on it. It may require me having multiple like overlapping planes, but I think I can make it work. What I want to do is have the background be a texture, the scan lines be a texture that sort of slowly animates down, and then possibly a texture for the glasses that I can just show and hide, and a texture for the eyes that I can swap out. So that is something that we may look into later. what I want to do first today is look into Streamline. Though, if you want first, I can show you how I have this all set up, if that would interest you. Okay, well, let's head over. If you just... oh, nah. Alright, so... see, I can look around now. The box is over there. You see, you missed the fun that I had where I was just in the box. And then I could pop out the box. Always keep the box. Alright, so let's head in here. And that is my desktop. Okay, well, if we head over into the corner. See, this is one thing that's nice. I can move forward, go into the corner. Oh, I haven't implemented like rotate on the spot. Doesn't matter, I can just face backwards. So, where is the Unity? Let's bring the Unity and zoom in. There we go. And let's show you how this all works. So, what I'm going to do, in terms of how this is structured, where is Pokebot in here? Oh, I am over here because it's live. So this is Pokebot down here, and you can see on this side we have Pokebot listed over here, and we have all of our bits down there. Now for the actual movement, that is just a script that I've had in for a while. It just moves it around. This was from a tutorial. But a lot of the power comes from all the looking around, comes from this here, the Pokebot look controller, which I've stuck on the armature. So if I bring this across, so what this is effectively doing, I can actually delete that, is we hook up all of our controls and find all the bits of our armature, so lower neck and so on. And all we're basically doing is on look input, on mode toggle, and on reset neck. So the reset neck is fairly simple. All we're doing is if I shift down, actually, yeah, one thing I have learnt, let's just switch Unity to that. I figured out the performance issues. So if I bring up the stats, you can see at the moment we're doing about, what, 100 frames a second. If I switch to the scene view, that goes down to about 35. I move that off screen. Yeah, so there's stuff that we could potentially do, like there's a load of stuff around textures and stuff that we can hopefully do to speed this up. And the thing is, this isn't a release build, this is running inside Unity at the moment. So I think if I actually built it and ran it as a separate thing, it may work better. But yeah, if I look up, then I look up, but if I then press the right analog stick in, that will call on reset neck. And you see all that's doing is it's snapping the transform here and updating a value here for the neck rotation. So that is up there. Now in terms of the rest of it, I have on look input, or on mode toggle is basically I read in is R1 pressed or not, and on here I read in the vector value of the left analog stick. And all that happens here is on update, first thing we do is we handle rotation, and this is basically if the current input that we've got from the analog stick is greater than 0.6, then we rotate and we take the lower neck, the very bottom bone, we transform it, get its transform, and we rotate that transform around the y-axis. Now in Unity the y-axis points up, whereas in Blender the z-axis points up. But what we basically do is we rotate by our rotation speed, which is 270 degrees a second, multiplied by time.delta time, which is how much time since the last frame, so that we're actually like over a second this should equal roughly 1. But we also multiply it by the current look input. So if I move to the right, it moves to the right. If I move to the left, it moves to the left. So that rotation is easy. The upper neck, if we have R1 pressed, we do upper neck, otherwise do lower neck. Now the lower neck is a bit easier. So again, this time we do the neck speed times delta y times the current y, and that gets us how fast we need to go. Then we work out, okay, what's the new rotation going to be? So we get our current neck rotation and add the speed. And then what we need to do is the rotation less than or equal to 0, greater than or equal to 0, or less than or equal to 100. Now at the moment, this here, if I'm all the way back, that's 0. If I go down to that, that's 100. So 0 degrees, 100 degrees. So it's just, can go just beyond 90. And this is basically capping us at how far up we can go, how far down we can go. And if we're in that range, then we want to move ourselves, and we basically rotate the neck transform along the local x-axis, which is up and down. And then the upper neck we rotate by minus that amount, so that means that the upper neck basically moves at the same speed in the opposite direction, which keeps the screen pointing the same way. So if I like rotate the screen, you see the screen is looking. And then finally the upper neck, when I press R1, if I ever go up, when I press R1 and move up and down, we call this handle upper neck here. And same again, we just do by the speed, the neck rotation. But now the rotation, this is going to be slightly different because this is basically treated as 0. In terms of the rotation that we're storing, even though the actual rotation, we rotate by 90 degrees when we start this, because when it starts, where are we? When it starts, it looks like that, because that's how it's modeled in Blender for ease of use in Blender. But this here ends up being 0. And that means that what we want is, when we're in this position, we can be at 0, or we can be at minus 180. So 0 to minus 180. And that works pretty well, except what if I'm down here? Well, I don't want to go all the way back because I'll click through, and I don't want to go all the way forward because I'll click through. So what I actually do is the new rotation has to be less than or equal to minus 180 plus whatever the neck rotation is. So when we're up here, like all the way at the top, then it's minus 180. But if we move, say, to roughly 45 degrees, then it's minus 180 plus 45, which is minus 135. So that limits us there. Now the problem is it doesn't then fix it if you do that. That's something I'm going to have to fix. But the other thing is, when we go, if I go down here, we don't want to go all the way down because then we'll start clipping into the body. So I've set a hard limit of similar thing, but it can only go 30. So you can go back more, but only to 30 degrees. It still clips, and then when it does, the problem is we are in, like, not getting into here to rotate, so I'm going to have to, I've implemented that reset that gets me back to here. But that is essentially how it all works in Unity. Now, in Blender, let's open up the Pokebot. This is a very, very simple rig that I have put together. My first ever rig. And the thing is, it was very hard finding out how to do this, because most of the tutorials on rigging up a character are, oh, you've got this biological character and therefore you want all your meshes to deform, and we're going to do weight painting and all stuff like this, and you've got all this complex thing, and it's just like, no, I've literally got 2 joints that I just want to do and then the whole thing to rotate. How do you do that, please? And then I found a tutorial, and it is a pretty excellent tutorial. It was far more advanced actually than I needed, but it got me most of the way there. Let's see if I can find it again. Where are we? History. Here we are. So it's a channel called Deco, and just going through here, they are basically rigging a arm. Now they're doing a lot of stuff. Like the first one is a lot. Like you don't actually start creating the rig until number 3, like part 3. But in part 1, it's basically all the things that you need to know about designing it and like building the object. So yeah, this was really good for mechanical rigging, because that's what I want and that's what I need, because all this stuff is robots and stuff. Like when I do the arms and stuff, that's all going to be mechanical rigging. But so many tutorials are not about that. It's just like you search, how do I rig an object in Blender? Well, here is how you build a full character for bringing it. It's like, no, I don't want that. So this is the Pokebot in Blender, and if we go to wireframe mode and I select it, so this is all the rig is. I've got a body, I've got an oh yes, I need, hopefully OBS 28 is going to bring hopefully Apple's new screen capture kit functionality, so I will be able to do a window capture on the game rather than having to use a display capture, because at the moment the window capture has a delay on it, whereas the screen capture does not. The problem is the screen capture captures anything in that region. So where's my mouse gone? We have a fairly simple rig here. If I go into edit mode, we'll be able to see it a bit clearer. So I've got a bone for the body, a small bone here for the lower neck. I've got the neck, and then I've got the upper neck, and basically all of this is down here is tied to the body, this cylinder here is tied to the lower neck, and the lower neck is what just rotates around like this to give me the rotate 360. And then here I have the armature just hooked up to the capsule, and then everything at the top is hooked up to this bone here. And all what I'm learning is I have to do relatively little inside of Blender. For example, all the constraints and stuff on movement, they don't get carried over to Unity. So I just need to rig this up and then bring it over to Unity, and then like how it actually moves, if you're just doing it manually, well, it's just how you tell it to move. So all I'm controlling is telling this bit of the this small bit of the armature to rotate around. Well, in here it's the Z-axis. Here I'm telling it to rotate what would be along the Y-axis, and here rotate again along the Y-axis. Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't carry over, because it would be nice to get constraints in so I could constrain the movement somewhat. But on the other hand, it makes some sense because it gives you a bit more control. Like the armature carries over and so on, but all the stuff inside doesn't seem to carry over. Maybe it does in some way, but it doesn't seem like it does. I mean, there's things like when I actually get the face working. At the moment, this is just a material, like material inside of Blender, which is just a solid image. But I'm going to need to break this out into multiple images. And then there's a question of, well, if I have the glasses and like I have a plane for my what would it be? A plane for the background, which is just going to be a gradient color. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to do a gradient color inside of Unity, so I may have to just use a image, but I mean, that's not that big a deal. The scan lines, again, can be a fairly simple thing that just moves up. But then I'd probably have a layer for the glasses, which would be on its own plane. So I'd have the background plane, a plane for the scan lines, a plane for the glasses. But all of this is whether I can work out in Unity instead a way to stack multiple translucent textures on top of one another. Because if there is, then that will make it a lot easier. But I mean, the other thing I could do is when it comes to the eyes and the face, if I want to bring up Photoshop. So I have my Photoshop file here, and I've got like the smiling face there, happy, worried, confused, sleep, that's angry but blinking. So the question is, do I have the eyes just as textures that can animate, like do a sprite sheet so I can animate between blinking and not? Same with the mouth. Do I have textures that can blink between open and closed mouths and stuff like that? Or do I make them shapes so that I can blend between them, like make them vectors and make them actual objects inside of either Blender or Unity, so that I can actually blend between them? So rather than blinking go from one to another, it can actually animate that. Now, Yeah, I think shapes would work well. Like, having the background and the scan lines be textures might just be static images. Well, I say static images, just be textures that I can manipulate. Same with the glasses, they just need to be turned on and off, and then maybe the color change. But the eyes and the mouth are maybe a bit more. So, because if you look, this is the biggest difference between most of them. The second biggest is probably confused, or you get an eye like that. I mean, worried is a bit different, but I mean, they're all fairly different. But if there was a way to like blend between, because I've got a blink. Nah. I mean, I suppose I don't need to blend between these. I just need to blend the mouth between like an open closed version. And I need to blend the eyes between a blink and no. But the other key thing is I want to be able to theme this. So I'm going to want to be able to have a version that is like a black background with bright green everything, which would be nice to have. I want to have a pixelated version. Now the pixelated version I won't be able to blend between. So again, it's a case of it may be better just using textures and just going between them, a bit like the AdoTube does, because that will make things just flow a bit easier. It's just basically your, I mean, it's not even swapping out a texture. You swap out the textures when you're switching between the faces, but you would just be flipping the offset, because it's basically a sprite sheet at that point. So that might be what I go for, because that way I can have a lot more control over each theme if I treat it like a sprite sheet rather than doing it in 3D. It's probably a bit more memory, but yeah, I think the sprite sheet approach is probably the simpler one to go for to begin with, and then it's something that I can play around with. Like, once I have a few different themes in, then I can start playing around with other ways of doing it. But yeah, it's something that we'll be able to play around with. But first, I want to actually get some work done on Streamline. At least while my brain is still vaguely functioning. We'll see how far we can get with getting audio actually playing. And then when my brain finally gives out, because I'm still recovering from this cold over the weekend, which completely wiped my brain out, then we'll go back and do some more playing around in Blender and Unity and see if we can get some of these facial expressions in there. But for now, let's don't save that. I will save that. Quit. Alright. So let's bring up Streamline, and this has been a while, so I've forgotten how far we actually got. So yeah, well, we have Streamline. And, well, that's looking kind of empty. That's better. So, if I double click on that, we'll see that up here, oh, you're up there. Hello up there. I just had a brilliant idea. I know a feature that I need to add at some point. I don't know how I'm going to add it or when I'm going to add it, but it's going to be a good feature. What I need, follow me back over here. What if, just hear me out on this, what if I had a laser pointer on my forehead, and then whatever I'm looking at, I'm clipping through the screen, whatever I'm looking at, I can sort of point a laser pointer on the screen, and you can see like where I'm pointing. That would be cool. That would be something that I could do. It doesn't even have to look like a laser pointer, it can just be like a red line or something like that. It could just be a cylinder. It could just be a cylinder. It could just be a red cylinder. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. It could just be a red cylinder. And it can just shoot out from the face of the Pokebot and intersect the screen somewhere. And then I can show you where I mean. I think we have a plan for something to work on later. So, if we look up there, we can see that everything has appeared in the sidebar. And we can delete stuff. We can rearrange stuff. We can swap stuff out. So, I think there are a few additional no, I don't think so there are some things that we can do. We could have it where when you double click on a track, it will switch to playing that track and then basically show the rest of the playlist. If you right click on a track, you can choose to just add it to the playlist individually. So those are some additional options. Or we can look at trying to get things actually playing music-wise. I think what I'm going to do is at least get it where if you double click on something in a playlist, it will add it to the queue and then add the rest of the playlist after it to the queue. Just because it's something a bit easier to get my brain working on. So, we have playback queue. Can add tracks. So, if I find actually players queue that actually gets called. Main window view model mode. We'll start playing playlist from playlist track nil. And then want to do is if let's playlist track equals playlist track and let tracks is tracks dot first index of okay, so we're gonna have to do that. Let's do it. So we're gonna get for sorted tracks equals okay. So we can't do that because when the playlist is nil, it gets all tracks. Okay. Huh. So how am I going to handle this? So start playing. Because the problem is the track collection contains tracks, but the playlist contains playlist tracks. What we might need is two separate methods then. One that is just start playing from track in case you do it like you call it on the on all tracks, and another that start playing from playlist, like start playing playlist from track, which takes a playlist track. Did anything pique my interest from the Xbox presentation? I didn't really watch it because I mean, I should do because almost everything that's coming to the Xbox comes to PC, so it's most stuff I can play, but I'm more of a PlayStation gamer, so I didn't really pay too much attention to it. There are some things that look interesting. The new is it Starfield? I can't remember. Was it Obsidian or Bethesda that did Starfield? One of them, like the new space thing. Must be Bethesda because it was. They said it was from next to Fallout, didn't they? But that looks like it could be interesting. The one that I'm really looking forward to, which is one that I was looking forward to since they first showed it off, and which hopefully is coming out sometime soon because they said summer 2022, is Redfall. The one with the zombies, and it's got the there's like someone who can do magic. You've got a sniper that can go invisible. British guy who is very much like the scientist of the group who's analysing things, and then there's a woman who's a mechanic and stuff and has all the like robot dog and stuff. And that looks, just from the cinematic, it's just like, I like where this is going. So that looks like it could be quite good, but I mean, there wasn't I wasn't paying as much attention to everything, but those are the two that like stood out from what I saw on Twitter. Was there anything that you saw that looked interesting to you? Silk Song. Let's Google that. Oh, Hollow Knight Silk Song. Be available within the next 12 months. That's interesting, because I haven't actually played the original Hollow Knight. It's one of those games that I'm not entirely sure whether it's my sort of thing, because I may just get too salty at it and give up. Let's have a look. Tracks. Right, so I have had an idea. And it's an idea to make things much simpler for me. Because let's have a look at this. So the idea I was having was, what if like the main tracks was just a playlist? Like we had a playlist protocol, and that returned a bunch of playlist tracks, and the tracks controller can conform to the playlist protocol. We'd have a static playlist that can conform to the playlist protocol. We'd have smart playlists which could conform to the playlist protocol. And then all this stuff effectively treats it as though it's just working on a playlist. Because then it could have stuff that would notify when a playlist is This is the problem. I just wanted to get a simple win, but then my mind goes and decides, oh, let's see things from an entirely new perspective. And then everything gets harder. Hey. Oh well. Let's have a look into this, because I think this is going to make... It's going to make things a lot simpler if we can work out... if we can have a type that says... Because you're going to have a playlist, you're going to have a smart playlist, you're going to have potentially a scene, and also just the old tracks, and they're all going to have a lot of functionality that is going to be the same, so it's best to treat them all as a playlist. These are all just collections of songs, and these songs like can be sorted by certain values. They can have a list of tracks, they can have a list of sorted tracks, and they can be updated, which is going to be highly useful for stuff like smart playlists. And if we work in that mode, then it's stuff like they can be played from a certain track on there. Like they're going to have a playlist track. Or rather, not a playlist track, they're going to have like a track within that playlist. And then both track and playlist track can conform to this. Yeah. You can say, play this track within this playlist. Well, that gets a bit complex because and we could do first index of, and then the playlist track within the playlist, which if it is a playlist track, you just turn the index. If it's something that just works with tracks natively like the tracks view, then it just returns the track. But if it's something like a playlist that you pass a track in, then we just have to return the first one, which would work. But yeah, we can do it that way, so yeah. Oh, the head rotation kosher. Which head rotation? This head rotation? This head rotation. Because both work. Oh, there's this head rotation. Rotate up and down. It's a bit more complex than most characters, because in most characters it's just sort of you're moving forward and you move and you look and it snaps back, and you look and it snaps back, and you're just temporarily looking. This is a bit harder to control because, I mean, it's also like if you move down, you have look up, you have look down, so you'd look up and then you look down. But I have look up, move down, move up, look down, move down, look down some more. Look all the way back, move up. So yeah, there's a lot, and I will get used to it. I also need to fix the lighting because this has quite a sheen on it, but we'll get that sorted eventually. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is take a very short break. Probably more breaks than usual today, because my brain just needs the breaks, because it's still recovering from the head fog of a cold and lack of sleep and everything. So I'm going to take a short break, and when we come back we will start sorting out this playlist setup and get that implemented and working. So see you all in a little bit. Okay, I am back. So, let's get into this. Let's get our playlist sorted out. So, what we need is now, one thing I will say is, if things go a bit wrong with this, because it's going to be a Swift protocol, I may end up switching to doing the audio playing part of it, because I will then download Xcode. Oh no, Xcode 14 won't. Right, that's something that I need to check. Xcode 14. What is the system requirement on Xcode 14? Developer.apple.com. Develop documentation. '14 beta release now. Oh, 12.4 later. So, yeah, what I may end up doing is switching to using Xcode 14 and Swift 5.7, because 5.7 is supposed to make protocols a lot easier, but we will see how things go. These shouldn't be generic, so we should be okay. So we are going to have, oh, we've already got playlist. Playlist protocol. So we're going to have a protocol playlist. So we've got playlist, and we're also going to want playlist track. And this complaint balance redirection of playlist. Right. So we want var. Do we want the name? No, we want var x, which is going to be a set of playlist track protocol. And var sorted tracks, which is going to be a playlist track protocol. Let's go to complain. Yes, it is. Why? Oh yeah, because we need to get in the set. Right, so the playlist track protocol. What is the album BPM show? Yeah. Throw all those in. Make it so much easier with playlist track. implemented those. Because then you could treat a playlist track as a this may end up being more complex. So we start playing. That's that in. Where else are we? Tracks. Go to the tracks view model. Make tracks from you. Adding to playlist. Playlist, self-add tracks to playlist. Oh, hey Dragon Dust, I am doing well. Yes, it is a new avatar. You can see me, well, sort of in my full glory. I'm a little down here. Maybe I should fix that and have a look with the camera, but we can look into that later. But yes, I have a new body. Oh, this is just a little bit of simple modeling in Blender and a little bit of simple programming in Unity. I basically just made myself mostly of lots of cubes with some rounded edges, and I've created basic armature, and I just have a PlayStation controller that is letting me move things around. So as I move left and right on the right analog stick, it shifts me left and right. If I move up and down, it moves me up and down. And if I hold R1, I can flip my screen around. And this is my avatar that is, essentially, it is the head of an iMac G4 stuck onto the body of a G4 cube with a wheel. Now, it's not going to be textured like that, but I mean, that is the basic inspiration. The size and shape are roughly of a G4 cube with the sort of neck of a G4 iMac. Two machines that I love and I think are two of the best looking machines Apple has ever released. Neither of which I ever owned, which is a shame. But yes, this is my new avatar, which we'll eventually be able to do a lot more. Somewhere inside this body are some arms that will be able to do some stuff. Haven't modelled them yet, but I'm sure they're in there. And yeah, I also want to have my face be something a bit more than just a static smiling thing that just it looks up at you creepily like this. So it'd be nice if I blinked rather than just stared and had different expressions rather than just smiling. But yeah, this is me now, and this is what I've played around with. And a bit later today we will probably be doing some more playing around in this. I was hoping to stream some of this over the weekend, but unfortunately I was ill and therefore I just was not up to streaming while also doing this. So I did this and just worked on it instead. So this has been my weekend project, getting all this working. But if we go back in, what I'm currently doing now is trying to work out exactly how I am going to completely rethink my data model, which is always a fun thing to do, but long term it should make stuff a lot easier. So you create tracks from a playlist, and you can add tracks to playlist. Okay, no worries. Enjoy the call. Hopefully it's not too bad of a call. I also need to make a call at some point. I was meant to do it earlier today, but I'll probably end up doing it tomorrow. Where to source list, that's what I'm going to look at. So got our source list nodes, and we have a playlist source list node, and it would be nice if that could take a playlist rather than like a playlist protocol, because then you could interleave playlists and smart playlists, and we wouldn't have to worry about two different types here, because I mean we can make it take them. And what can you edit here? You can playlist name and value, and you can drop stuff onto it, so you can add tracks to a playlist. So we'd need to have the ability to, can you manually add tracks to it? In the tracks source list node could essentially be something, because this doesn't allow dropping on URLs, and this doesn't allow dropping on tracks. But other than that, oh no, can drop well, IDs at child index, can drop URLs at child index, and that just implements can drop URLs at child index. So I mean we could do that and just have the playlist protocol say, can you drop model IDs on, because smart playlists you can't. The track source list node you can't. That the title is the title editable. Problem is, this is requiring a lot of thinking, and my brain does not want to do much thinking today. Alright, let's think about what you can do. So you can get tracks, you can get sorted tracks. You need to be able to get the sorted tracks back. How do we sort? So we need sort key. Tracks. View model allows rearranging tracks. It's a fair point. Smart. A smart playlist. You're going to be able to rearrange tracks manually in the smart playlist, so we're going to need a playlist track for the smart playlist. Surely it depends. That works it. Well, if I have a smart playlist, you can rearrange them in a smart playlist, even if it's something where the smart playlist is potentially going to get rid of something after playing it. So anything new in the smart playlist just gets added to the bottom. So all the smart playlist is it automatically adds and removes stuff and then does a resort when that happens. So this is hard to work out exactly what I want. Have a think. Let's go for a bit of a strip. Just have do a few laps around the table and have a think about what we want to actually achieve. ideally we're going to have multiple things that are playable. So you're going to have just tracks in general. You're going to have like the tracks list, which is the list of all the tracks. So we are also going to have playlists, and then we're also going to have smart playlists. So and then scenes, of course. So all of those, you're going to be able to start playing the entire thing. Right. So you're going to be able to start playing the entire thing. You're also going to be able to start playing them at a certain point, except for scenes, which are going to work differently. You're going to be able to rearrange tracks in them, except scenes. Okay, I've already ruled scenes out. Scenes are not going to be part of this. Scenes are going to work differently. Scene, when you start a scene playing, that is just going to play a playlist. So we've narrowed it down to playlist, tracks list, and smart playlist. So all of those you can start playing. All of them you can play at a certain point. Oh, but the tracks list, you can rearrange tracks, like playlist tracks in. You can set them to a certain sort order. All of them except the tracks list you can add, like drag tracks to add. No, actually, only playlists you can drag tracks to add to them. But tracks and tracks list and right, let's bring this up. Oh, actually, I need to not have that on here. There it is. It's just not invoking it. Right, what I want to do is open up numbers. And open up a fresh numbers document. And we're going to do this way. So, let's go back to our screen. And I can show you what I'm doing. So, let's zoom this to 300%. So it's nice and big for everyone. Also, I'll bring up the sidebar for now. So we have, let's call it a static playlist, smart playlist, and a track list. So what do we want? You can play from track, play whole, play from track, rearrange, sort, shuffle, repeat. So those don't actually matter, because while they're going to be properties potentially on them, there are more functions of playbacks than there will be properties on scenes. Right. I'll play whole, play from track, rearrange, sort, add tracks, add files. So Let's make these checkboxes. So you can play the whole thing. You can play from a certain track. You can rearrange in these two. You can sort in all of them. You can add tracks to a static playlist. You can add files to a track list and a static playlist. What other things can you do? Rename, which let's shift that down. So you can rename static and smart. You're not going to be able to rename track list. What else can we do? So, play whole, play from track, rearrange, sort, add tracks, add file, rename. Else. I mean, we can edit stuff on the track, but that's more something for the track itself. What else would you do with a playlist? I mean, you can change the sort order on a playlist, but I mean, I suppose we might as well put that in. So that only affects a static playlist and a smart playlist, but not a track list. Well, I think that's everything that you'd need. Oh, you can remove tracks. I mean, you can potentially remove tracks from all of them, can you? Well, I mean, you can't remove from, oh. Track. You can remove tracks from them. Okay. I mean, if we had properties that can do all of this, then we can simplify a lot of stuff in future. So our track view, rather than needing to work on tracks and playlists and smart playlists, it would just work on the playlist protocol and tweak things depending on what the protocol said, rather than doing it on the type. We can have like booleans for, can you rearrange, can you add tracks, can you add files, and so on. It will make the sidebar easier, because the sidebar, well, we can have I mean, we can extend the protocol with, we could have like a UI level stuff that returns images and stuff, possibly. I mean, we could have it. You're going to have the title, and you're going to say, can you rename it? But you can also have an icon, which makes sense. And then we can have one type for the tracks in the sidebar. We can have one type for the playlist, another type for smart playlists, and then we can just allow them to rearrange, because we can just say, can you change the sort order of this? And if you can, then you can rearrange it in the playlist section. And if not, then it's the tracks list, and we don't allow you to drag that anyway. Removing the track, that's going to depend on the actual thing. One thing I am noting here is this will require yeah, this is going to require these to be fairly low level, because for example, removing a track, removing from a static playlist is fine, but removing from a track list, you're removing the actual thing from the app. So yeah, then we won't be able to call into that directly. Right, that's going to have to display an alert, and I'm not sure we want to do that at the level of the tracks controller, because then that's moving AppKit down into the model layer. So maybe removing a track. Maybe that's a bit more, but I mean that's more like deleting a track entirely. I wouldn't need that anyway. So where would we put that besides in that layer? Like, this is the problem with alerts. Is you want alerts to be in the UI layer, but the problem is so much of the time they deal with model layer stuff, and they get in the way of model layer stuff. So like, you could have it return an error, but then how do you get it to work normally? Maybe we could just have a confirm before deleting. Maybe remove track. What we actually do is, rather than calling it on the thing, we say remove track from playlist on the view model. Then the view model can determine, do we want to actually remove this? That can determine, is this going to just remove the track, or is it going to delete the track? And then then we remove the track, right? Then we have the view model, and then when it calls remove track, and it removes track from the object. But then we need to check the actual type of the object, which kind of defeats the purpose. Protocol. Why is deleting things so hard? You'd think that deleting things would be easier than adding things, but not, because then you have to think about, okay, what am I actually deleting? maybe add track and delete track are two separate things, but because then you've got a question of, do you just delete the track or do you also delete the file? I mean, there is a thing of whether it could have a property like will delete file, but then you're gonna need to display a different UI anyway, depending on what it is doing. Yeah. This is causing too much pain. Let's just remove track. Deleting is causing too much pain, so we'll delete it from here. So we can figure that out later. We'll push that under the rug for now. So if you do this, you can play whole, you can play from track, you can rearrange tracks in it, you can sort it by any property on the tracks, you can add tracks, you can add files, you can rename, and you can sort. And I've just realised a fatal flaw in this entire situation, which is... actually, maybe it's not so fatal because I did change that. I'm not actually using... combine or KVO. So we can get around this. Hey, this is programming at its finest, where you're not really getting any... Hey Vos, welcome to the stream. How are you? How are you all doing? Welcome to the stream. How was your stream? Let's give you a shout out. So, this is the first run out of the Pokebot. Running around on the stream. It was fun, but time to go offline. Yeah, it's probably getting towards the end of the day for you. So, what I am building is, well, I'm trying to build Streamline, and having one of those moments in programming, one of those moments that you probably know particularly well, where you're like, okay, how exactly do I want to do this? And then you spend ages trying to ponder exactly what you're trying to do. And what I'm trying to work out is how I can simplify things, and unfortunately simplifying things is kind of complex. So what we're building is a protocol. I mean, if I just build and run, and this is probably not good to work because place track protocol does not... oh, that's going to mess everything up with that conform stashable. Right, get rid of the protocol. I've decided I'm getting rid of it. It was a mistake to think protocols could be of any use. I'm not going to bother with it. I may add it again later for other things, but no. So, the minute that you need to make protocols do anything sort of with generics is just a pain point. And I know Swift 5.7 is meant to fix that to some degree, but... so yeah, what I am building is... this is Streamline, which is basically a music player app, but with a bit of a difference. Unfortunately, the bit of a difference part is not implemented at all yet. it will be these stream things here, which you will be able to basically put different scenes in, and scenes can be associated with playlists, and you can set up various custom things on. So it will be useful for if you are streaming and you want to actually switch between scenes during your stream. Maybe you want to switch to more upbeat stuff, to a lo-fi playlist, or to some rock, or whatever you want. Maybe you've got an intro or an outro that you want to play those playlists. It would be great for if you're doing like RPGs, running those, and you want to have it. So it's almost like a soundboard, but for playlists. So that is what I'm building, but what I'm doing at the moment is getting the basics of music playing implemented. So we have it where we can build our queue down this side here. You can double click on a playlist to actually queue stuff up. It isn't actually playing it at the moment. Yes, it is going to be playing local files. I was initially looking at seeing, can I hook it up to Apple Music? That is a bit more complex than I thought. So initially it is just going to be local files that you can drag in, but I would like it in future to be able to have additional libraries. So you could have a library that is local, or potentially a library that hooks into some other music service of some kind, and be able to pull in music from elsewhere. So yeah, I mean, that is the sort of thing that I'm thinking of as something useful for all your like royalty-free music and all stuff like that, because my playlist is all royalty-free stuff. It's stuff that is stream friendly, but I'm just using music to play it, and it's a bit of a pain to do all that, and it doesn't give me quite the control that I want. So I'm building this to do that, because other things I want to do is make sure that you can properly use shortcuts with it, maybe even that a Stream Deck plugin, so that you can automate it a lot more, and potentially even, if I can, have it where you can have a virtual microphone, virtual, like play to a virtual input that you can then easily add to other streaming setups and so on, so you don't have to go through all sorts of different pieces of software to try and get it into a streaming app. So it's really building something that is designed for just live switching between playlists, transitioning between them, and all stuff like that. So like I said, it's basically letting you build a music player, but then build a series of soundboards for your playlists. So yes, music app can be a bit annoying like that. It's also annoying how certain things don't work correctly, and it's a bit clunky. So it's just nice, build a fresh music player, and I can have it completely separate and have it just, this is what I use for streaming, this is what I use for my own playlist stuff. So yeah, Twitch doesn't seem to be quite so bad, though oddly I've had a few things where Twitch has muted parts of my stream for supposedly playing copyrighted songs, but the problem is I didn't play those songs, and the songs that it thought I played sound nothing like the songs I did play. So that has been fun. YouTube is a bit more picky. Some of the songs in this playlist do demonetize on YouTube, but they don't on Twitch. So it's not like a DMCA takedown. It's just detects. I think it's Content ID on YouTube that it detects on there. But I'm mostly uploading to YouTube as VODs, so. But yeah, this is what I'm building, and what I initially was wanting to do is just so that you could double click on the track and have it appear with the rest of the thing in here. And I was thinking, oh, let's simplify all that by making everything just work in terms of some sort of playlist things. But unfortunately, that's a bit more complex than I thought. Okay, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for raiding. And hopefully everyone else will stick around as I try to get this working. So we are going to go back and do what I initially was planning to do before doing a lot of pondering. Thanks for the follow, One Piece. It's much appreciated. So we're going to have stop playing from track. And this is going to be stop playing library from track. And then start playing playlist from track. And then we can get rid of the option on here because this is always going to be a playlist. So our tracks is going to be so we're just going to sort these by title for now. And then we'll just playback controller q dot playlist q off there. So go to replace queue with tracks and just use a skip for now. Oh yes, I've just realised I haven't, for those of you who are new here and have not actually seen this setup before, let me show you around. It is all fairly simple at the moment. It's all greys and well, that's kind of white, but I mean really, it's grey. It's grey. Everything's grey. I have not really textured anything. The most complex texture in here is my face, and that's not that complex. That is a green screen, which I can zoom in and out of. And then through this door here, we get to the bridge, because this is a spaceship, and the spaceship will eventually go places. But this is the setup I have, where I can go around, have a look around. This is the box that I came in. It was what was moving around the stream initially. I could not get out of it. Some people may claim that I had not actually been designed yet, or built yet, or made in Blender, or animated, or programmed, and that the box was all there was. Those people are lying. But yes, so I can go around, have a look. As you can see, I mean, this is a spaceship, but well, I mean, we're not in space yet. This here is the holo table. Doesn't actually show anything yet. I was going to get something displaying on it, but yeah, I didn't have time. I do want to get stuff displaying on there, so maybe like alerts and stuff. I mean, one thing that would be nice, so when the raid comes in, what I want to have happen is for the ship to go to red alert, and on the holo table it will actually show up who is actually here. It will basically show up who is raiding on here, so like have a holographic projection sort of up above it so that you can see who is raiding, so I can just come in here and see who has decided to come and visit the spaceship. So this is, yeah, this is my stream setup. There are a few others like it out there. Three of the most popular ones are Gwilym, but I'll give shout outs for these if anyone's interested in these. There's Gwilym, who has a dragon. There is Barry, who doesn't do as often, but if you check out his VODs on YouTube, there is a stream where he did a 3D setup on April Fools, which is hilarious. And then a bit after that, he did an even longer stream explaining how he did it all. But one of the originators, and possibly the originator of this, is of course DogSwift, who have just finished earlier today, and they have been they basically built their own 3D setup, and yes, this is basically inspired by them. Afflux, welcome. This is powered by Unity. So I have Unity running on my machine. I've basically built all of this in Blender, and it's all programmed in Unity. So I have a controller for moving around. This is just like using a PlayStation controller. So left analog stick moves me around. The right analog stick will left and right moves my head around like that. Up and down helps me pop my head to the music. And then I can look around. So I can even go and look all the way upside down. And then if my head gets there, I can just reset it, and just lets me move around. And like I say, this is fairly simple at the moment. I've got my robot with a move script on. I've got a look script. What else do I have? I mean, all this is sort of vaguely textured. There is technically a texture on these windows, but you can only see it from outside when the light's shining on it, so it's kind of, what's the point? But yeah, there are other rooms and stuff around. I'll probably be doing some more work on this in a little bit once I've got some of this playlist stuff working on Streamline. But yeah, the other script is the door. So the door will open and close. And yeah, the cameras are actually, there's no scripting on the cameras because Unity has a pretty cool camera system that doesn't require much scripting. So, I mean, I tell a lie, there is one small script on the camera, which is when I press the triangle button and I'm in the room, I can switch between alternate cameras, which is how I can slide in like this. But yeah, that is my setup. And like I say, it's fairly basic at the moment, but I want to add additional stuff later on. I mean, for example, an idle animation will be quite good for when I'm actually coding, rather than it just being static like this when I put the controller down. Coming up with different faces so that I can use all the different expressions that I have for my 2D VTuber. But I also want to make it more interactive as well. So things such as, I want to stick lighting all around the ship and have it so that people in chat can change the lighting. Things such as when raids come in, have that appear on the stream. One thing that would be quite nice is to be able to change the colour of the screen on my robot and change basically the theme. So I'll have all the same expressions, but maybe this is, you got the standard one, then you'll have a pixelated version, you'll have a terminal version. I could do all sorts of ones. I could do like a classic macOS one, all sorts of different ideas to come up with. and there'll also be the quintessential throw something at the streamer, which is always a fun one in these streams. So let's get back to this. What I'm probably going to do is get this basic thing working, and then I'll switch over to Unity and we'll actually play around with this so you can all see how exactly it works, and I can show you in a bit more detail. But I want to get at least something done on Streamline today. So what we can do is we can get rid of that. So this is all going to work fine now. However, what we want to do is we're going to get the tracks, and then what we want to do is if let track equals track and let index equals tracks dot first index of track. And what we actually want is from index, can't remember, is that how you do an open-ended one? And we can do that to x that end index that way. Oh. That convert, no. Tracks don't count. Do it that way. I'm going to do the same thing here, except this is going to be playlist tracks, and that's actually going to be from playlist track. And we're basically going to do the same thing. In fact, we're not. We're going to do tracks, and that's going to be track. Tracks equal playlist tracks. Playlist tracks dot count dot map track. This is just going to be tracks equals playlist tracks dot map count. Sorry, map track. Well, can't convert value of range array track.index, which is an integer. The current song, and this is actually one thing that I'm wanting Streamline to do, is show this, is Force of Nature by Miracle of Sound. And if you haven't checked out Miracle of Sound before, they do all sorts of fantastic music inspired by video games. So I believe Force of Nature is inspired by Horizon Zero Dawn. Once this is finished, I'll just start playing my favourite Miracle of Sound song, which is actually inspired by Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, if you just search for Miracle of Sound on YouTube, you will find all sorts of fantastic stuff. But apparently he's really cool and lets you play your music on streams as long as you buy it. Right. Can I convert value of type, range? Check argument type, index set. Can you not? It says there's a fix it. What's the fix it? So there's a fix it and then not give me a fix it. Oh, it's fix all issues. No. Are you going to show it up there? No. Oh, Xcode. I will say Xcode, I have a greater appreciation for Xcode because building everything in Unity, I've been using Visual Studio for the Mac, and some bits of that app are nice, but some bits are bad, and I'm not sure how much of that is it being just them porting it to the Mac, or how much of that is like Visual Studio, because I haven't used Visual Studio a huge amount on Windows. I know enough to know that it's very good in certain areas, but like it's buggy, and things as simple as how do I get something to display like in a column, like, and how to get a file to display over here versus here. Xcode, since Xcode 4, it's been pretty simple. You click to open in here, and you option click to open in another view, and then you option shift click to decide where to open. Really powerful, really simple. You can build all sorts of stuff out of that. You have to go through all sorts of weird stuff in Visual Studio to create the document split, but you can only have two, and then you can't drag something from one to another. So if you've got like two tabs open in one thing and you actually want one of them in another thing, you can't do that, which seems odd because most other things let you do that if they use the tabbed interface, but I don't know. It's also highly frustrating. I had a bit of a rant about this yesterday. So if like along here I wanted to skip along, I can hold down option and right, and it goes from the cursor. Let's zoom in a bit so you can really see this. Cursor is at south, goes to the end of south. Now if I hit option right again, where does the cursor go to? Well, in Visual Studio and an awful lot of other IDEs and text editors, it goes to there. It treats this as a word. But in Xcode, it goes to the end of the word. Because when I say go to the end of the next word, I mean go to the end of the next word, not the end of the next character. So this just goes so much quicker when you are in Xcode. But if you're using something like Visual Studio or another editor, it is so much slower, and it makes jumping around text in Xcode feels so fast. But so many other editors, they implement this wrong, and it feels like you're going through syrup. You're like wading through a swamp to jump around your code with cursors. And it's just, it's a little thing that's frustrated me, so much of it. But yeah. So how do you get a sub? Like, I did 4, 8, 10. That's an index set. Okay, an index set. This is one of those times. Like I've just complained about visual shield. This is one of those times where I hate Swift. Because it goes for absolute correctness over convenience. It's why so many people dislike the string APIs in Swift. Because you'll hear people who worked on them and people from Apple stuff, oh, they're great because they're correct. Yeah, but do you want to know what's easier? String as NS string dot use the simple API. Is it less correct? Yes. Does that matter? No, because the differences between them only really affects Unicode, and the vast majority of time you're not dealing with that. You just want to get some basic stuff, and it just makes it so hard to deal with basic string operations at times. Now, I believe they've improved those a bit in macOS 13 and iOS 16. They're meant to be improving it, but I mean, it's stuff like this of why do I need to wrap it in an index set? Why can't I just pass a range in? And it wouldn't even be that hard. You just have to add like an extra thing that basically does the wrapping in the index set. Like, I get having an index set option, but how many people are going to be using this to get a slice of an array? It's annoying. And the thing is, if you do it with a string, you can do that just fine. Except you can't just use integers. Get rid of that. Okay. Where are we? Yes. Compact. That is something I have heard about Xcode 14. It will no longer do that. If you have like arguments and stuff already written, it should be a lot smarter. I've heard a lot of people who've like, I've not tried 14 yet. I'm gonna have to download it at some point soon, but people who have used it have said the autocomplete is so much better, which is like, congratulations Apple, it took you 10 versions after Xcode 4 to finally make the autocomplete work properly, but they got there eventually. It's I mean, I never really blame the Xcode team for the problems with Xcode, because the problem with the Xcode team is the Xcode team wants to work on Xcode and they want to improve Xcode and make everything better in Xcode. But the Xcode team is also the one team that has to get all the requests from everywhere else in the company, where it's like, oh, the Metal team have come out with something, so the Metal team now wants to now needs some new stuff in Xcode, and oh, UIKit have come out with some more stuff. Well, now UIKit needs some more features in Xcode, and SwiftUI has come out with more stuff, so SwiftUI needs more features in Xcode, and it's like the Xcode team have to do their stuff and then also parts for everyone else. So it's like I never blame the Xcode team for the basics, like stuff like editing and autocomplete being wrong, because they are having to do so much more work than the other teams. And to be completely frank, the Xcode team are one of the few that actually seem to respond to radars. So, right. So that's why Even though my general advice is don't bother filing radars, if it's for Xcode, that's the exception, because the Xcode team are pretty fantastic. They also have my favourite radar I ever filed. So, story time. Story time for us. 1 second. So, Xcode 4 came out, and everyone was saying, oh, this is awful, it's broken in so many ways, I can't do this, that and the other that I've built. So, what did I do? I actually loved Xcode 4, because Xcode 4 worked just how I used Xcode 3. For those who used Xcode 3 in windowed mode, it was obviously a bit of a pain, but for me, I loved it. But I also filed a lot of bugs, and a lot of people were filing bugs, and a lot of people were just complaining, but I was just filing bugs because they were bugs, and there were things that I wanted to see improved, things that I wanted to see brought back. So, what actually happened was I ended up filing one last radar. After I filed a bunch of bugs, I filed one last radar. And what that radar was basically telling the Xcode team, oh, they deserve cookies. The Xcode team deserves cookies because they've put all this hard work in, and they deserve a treat. Because I found a lot of bugs, and they're there to fix all these bugs and do all these things. They've obviously put a lot of work in, and I was like, give them cookies. And it was a bit of a joke radar, and I thought nothing of it. It was just like I'd filed loads of radars and thought, okay, I'm done. Oh, actually, no, I'll just file one last jokey radar. Okay, now I'm done. And then guess what happened? A few weeks later, I get a DM. It's a DM from someone at Apple. And they shared with me a screenshot of my radar internally with a bunch of comments from engineers on it. It's the only time I've ever seen the internal radar app. And do you want to know what's fantastic about it? They were all saying, tell the filer thank you for the cookies, because what had happened? Well, the managers on the Xcode team had seen the radar, and they'd gone out and they'd bought the Xcode team cookies. So that's the radar I'm most proud of, because I one time managed to file the radar and got the Xcode team cookies. So I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, there was the other time that I sort of filed the radar that has the fastest number of duplicates in 24 hours, which was the fixed radar RGTFO one, which got like 300 Me Too tickets filed against it in like 24 hours or something like that. And apparently he has one of the longest internal comment threads in the whole of Apple's radar, because pretty much anyone at Apple that wants to improve the feedback system inevitably comes to that radar and fixes it. Well, adds to it. So it did prompt Apple to realize, oh, this is a big problem. I think in the end it had like over 600 people say that they filed duplicates of it. There may be many more, but that is what Apple did. So we have this here. If I build, this is going to break because right, we start playing. Aha, that's what we need. This wants to be start playing. Library. No, we're not going to fix that. Right. So Now I want to go into our tracks view. Where is tracks view? And here, I want tracks table data source. I want this in here. I sort here. Actually do the sorting. View model tracks. Ah yeah, I sort here. Okay. So what I want to do is probably so I have a track row. Alright, so in here what we can probably do is have a function start playing track at index int. And what we can have up here is an action. Start playing track, and care about that because what we're going to do is self dot table view dot clicked row if that's equals that if click guard. Actually, no, do if clicked row is not equal to -1, then we're going to do self.viewModel dot start playing track at index clicked row. And this is going to be our double action, so we're going to go here, select our NS table view, and our double action here is going to be start playing track. Right, so that will go down to there, and then what we can do is guard let track equals self.tracks safe index, because that is a thing that I've added where you can basically throw any index in. It's something that I also had on NSArray back in the Objective-C days, where basically you can throw any index in, and if it's a negative number, if it is a outside the bounds, it just returns nil, because who wants to do bounds checking when you could just do a guard? And then we will start playing that. So we'll do self dot model view controller. If guard let playlist equals playlist. Otherwise, That track equals track row. Track equals track row dot kind dot track else return otherwise self dot in window view model start playing library from track. Actually, row kind dot track, because I mean if it's nil it's going to start playing from the beginning anyway. And then self dot start playing playlist from retro dot kind dot playlist track. Okay, so hopefully this should just work. So if we go in here, so we double click on there, it adds everything in. We double click on there. Okay, it's adding them the wrong way around. Oh no, it's not. But if I double click, you can see that it's only going there. If I go into here, stay by my side to battle all those tracks. But if I go up there, it's going to play all those, and there it's going to play down there. So that is working. So I think that is not as far as I wanted to get, but considering a lot of this was me pondering how best to do this and getting nowhere with that pondering, I think we'll call that a success. So I'm just going to take a very quick bathroom break, and when we get back we will go into Unity and start playing around with the overlay some more. So I will see you all in a minute. Okay, I am back. So, let us close Xcode. We can close that because we don't need that anymore. And let's have a look at Unity. Now, what I am actually going to do Why are the controls not picking up? Curious. Okay, let's restart. There we go. Okay. Well, I have no idea what happened there. But it seems that my controller had stopped working for some reason. Anyway. So what I am probably going to do while we work on this is switch over to my 2D version, because the frame rate gets very crunchy when I'm working in scene view in Unity. I mean, you can see here we're currently about 60 to 100 FPS. But if I just switch to scene view, we have that. And the thing is, the frame rate was actually significantly higher. It was like 300 FPS before, so there may be some optimization we could do. In fact, let me just have a quick look. Analysis profiler. So what are we... so play loops there. Hierarchy. That's a semaphore running. I'll have to work out how you actually do profiling in C. But yeah, it's I mean, can I build setting Mac, build for all that. Okay, build and run. Save as stream overlay. Okay, so this is just building at the moment. Unity is compiling, so we'll see what this does. Try the skybox. Okay. So is that if I go to streaming over Okay. So the question is, how do I make it? I suppose if I did it over here. Oh, that's running on the main display. I don't want it on the main display. Okay. Well, we will have to just switch over to 2D mode. Because, like I say, it's a bit too low frame rate, so we'll go back to how things were before. So, what we are going to do is we have everything over here. Okay, see you later, Sinister. I should hopefully be streaming again on Wednesday evening and then on Friday. So, we'll see how things go. So, first thing I'm going to do is, don't need this anymore. Let's delete Pokebox. Right, so this is how everything is constructed. And this is a spaceship. You can see there are other rooms visible, but they are currently locked. You can see basically the environment all around here. And I have my Pokebot here, which has a movement script on, and inside there's an armature that controls like the screen moving around. And essentially all I'm doing is, this moves around. As you can see, as I move around, the camera follows me. There's no programming there. All I have is a bridge camera, and I tell it to look at, in particular, the upper neck, so it's always looking at the screen. When I go into here, then I have a script that will actually enable the conference cam. So if I enable that, you'll see this camera here, and all these lines showing where it's looking will switch over to there. In fact, it's even better if I press play. You'll see animate across. The stream focus cam, I'm just changing the vertical FOV. I'm just changing the FOV, sorry. So you can see it move in and out. I'm going to turn that camera off and it slides back. That's basically how I do it, and it's basically when it comes in here, I've got camera colliders. When you come into the bridge, it switches to the bridge camera. For the conference room, I've got the conference camera and the screen focus camera, so I can have alternate cameras in the room, or rather in the box, so you can have one camera that it goes to, but then another camera, when I press the triangle button, it will toggle between the two. So that's all the camera control that is set up. So, what do I want to do? I think I want to do a little bit of work on the face. Yeah, let's see if we can get some stuff happening on the face. So what we need is, if I open up bot faces in Photoshop, we are going to take a very thin slice of this, because this is a vertical gradient. Ooh. So we're just going to get a 1-point slice. We'll copy that, paste, and we'll save that as a high quality JPEG. Base export, and this is going to be a blue background. Now I could do stuff like writing shades and stuff, but I don't know that stuff yet. That stuff I'm going to learn off stream because it will probably require watching videos, but for now we can get away with doing things the way that I know how to do things, and we can optimize things later. So the next thing we want is these. And that is going to be a PNG, which I'm going to export as scan lines. Right, so what we are going to do is double click on this and open up Blender. I'm going to shift Unity over there because Unity has a bug, a rather fun bug, and that bug is that it can freeze your screen, and the only way to fix it is turning the screen off and turn the screen back on again, and that is a lot easier to do if it is one of my other displays rather than my main display. So what we have here is we have our face, and what we are going to do is, rather than use happy face, we are going to open image, go up, 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 up. Right, feel that and find it. I can. Let us create a new thing. Go to streaming, Pokebot, base export, and drag, copy those in. So what I'll be able to do is go here. I want blue background. I didn't have the texture, didn't have the gradient enabled, that's why. Okay, save, no, I don't want to do that. Copy that, paste it. PNG is actually smaller. Background. JPEG, GN, get rid of tag, yeah, and then we're going to GN. There we go, that has green light. So, next thing I want is going to layout mode. And I want a plane that is going to be the same dimensions as this. So if we add ourselves plane and so it's 5184 .342. What is the X? Down, okay. So what we want is go to wireframe mode. Want this. That's bigger. That's bigger than the screen. Oh. Two, 4. Okay, so that's the 9. So anything. Rotate it slowly. And that's 1. But it is a slight problem with it. Screen. There's that 0 on 7 7 2. Oh, 0.917. So that, that and that. We could rotate this, but the problem is we need to rotate it by such tiny amounts, it's like trial and error. We might as well just average out. Because I mean, if I go through item, say I see yeah, so you can see the difference, and if I start rotating along the x-axis. Oh, we may be able to do it. Go on. Okay, so we're getting there. It's okay. Let's copy that and then that. Okay, so what we want to okay, so that rotated by that much, then by that. No, that needs to rotate by that much. So that's on that. That screen and that is rotated by that much, and then we can apply the rotation. And then that. Oh yes, because Blender is annoying like that. And when you select multiple things and then enter a value, it doesn't set the value for all of them to be that. Okay, so then we can select our plane, and now it should be able to fit down like so. Okay, so we have our plane which appears above. So on this plane we're going to have a new material which is going to be scan lines. I'm going to go into shading and we're going to take our scan lines here drag them over. And base color into there. Don't want that. Okay, And I just realised I was muted that entire time and my thing was not showing up. Well, what had gone wrong is I had forgotten that there was a white background on the PNG, and it's alright saving a PNG with translucency, it needs to actually be translucent. So that is why things had gone wrong. But if we save that now, and we go in here, okay, so we will have to extract that. But what we can do is just go into layout, and what we're going to do is if we go into wireframe mode, we have that selected, we're going to select that, and then we are going to, we don't let the whole picture. Actually, no, it does need to be. Yeah. Parent to the armature with empty groups. That selected thing. Okay, that is the plane selected. Then we can, oh, and we can select that, and then we can parent beyond. That is so nice. Right, I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna set parent with empty groups. Right, and then we want the plane. We want to go to our vertex groups and to tab in, make sure everything's selected, and assign everything to upper neck. So when we save that, that should now appear there. Now the other thing that we want to do is, if I bring Unity back over, if I go into Pilkybot, I want to go into here and extract materials. I'm going to extract into there. And then in materials we now have scan lines, and this allows us to change things, so we can go and change that to transparent. And now we get our nice scan lines there. So, what I want to do now is an animation on this. So, on here, on the screen, actually no, on the plane, which, before we do anything, let's rename that. It's currently plane 00. Plane 001 is going to be scanline plane. And what I want to do, save that and come over here. So we've got our scanline plane. We've got this here, and so as we offset the Y, you can see it's going. So what we want to do is we're going to add a bit of a simple animation to that. New script, scan line animate. So we've got the scanline animate here, and what we're going to do in the start is we're going to get our material, which is scanline material, and this dot scanline material equals get component material. So we're going to get the component on our cells. We're going to have public public float scan rate, which we're going to set to say 10. This is going to be per second. And be able to do offset, which is going to do to 1. So if I set that to 1, set it to 0. They're the same. Okay, so it's completely so scanline material dot get texture offset, which is a vector 2. Get the first offset of texture property name, or let's have a look here and look at Unity material. All properties. Okay, so we want to get the renderer material then to animate. So if we go back to here, that material. Get texture off. In texture offset. Okay, answer on me. So get texture offset, main text. So for current offset, and then current offset dot y plus equals generate times time dot delta time. And then we'll do scanline material dot set texture offset, main text, current offset. How has that happened? Okay. Nope. Wonder if I drag it to this one. Nope. Okay. I'll go over to there. Just wait. Go. Open up. studio. There we go. Right. Let's throw that into scripts. I'm going to go back to scanline plane. Scan rate is set to 10. So if I play this, that's going a bit slow, but if I zoom in, should be able to see. It is moving, but if I was to increase this, move component and add component and make sure that that is there, and then let's build and run again. Okay, this is probably not going to be great, but set. Aha! Hi Uli, thanks for resubscribing. How are you doing today? I have just realised what is going wrong. Let's delete that. Save that. So, this is what is going wrong. Let's shift. Ooh. Okay, that is very broken. But if I go there, let's change that to 0.1. Let's change it to 0.001. Maybe not. Maybe it's not getting better. Okay, first off, why is this so horribly broken? What has happened there? Something. The armature, now that is zeroed. Why is the center set to that position? it because the screen there. Let's go back to that now. I have no idea what has gone wrong there. Cylinder 2. Wait, what's cylinder 2? That's cylinder 2. Everything is attached to the armature. Vertex, that's upper neck. Scanline plane, vertex. Aha! Oh no, that's showing up now. Let's just double check that. All of those, no. Scanline plane. All of that. Sign, upper neck. You done with work today, now melting on the couch. Is it fairly warm over there? Okay, I have no idea what has messed up here, but we can fix it easily enough. These as 1, probably no point in 2 and 1. Okay, that'll do. But if I build and run, and I move around now. Okay, that's working a bit better. So why are the scan lines not moving? Let's have a look. I'm looking for. First off, we need to go in here, and we need to go into project. Look about materials, scan lines. Turn off specular highlights and reflection. Should not be smooth at all. In fact, we probably want it to be specular. Right. So if we go into the script, let's change this to 0.01. No, not 0.001. And we want debug.log offset. Let's bring it across here so you can see. Current offset. Okay, so if we go to the console player, this will do a lot of logging, but okay, so it's because if I go to the scanline plane, that we want to let's try that again. So what if we did 0.01? Still not moving them. So it's not changing that. Right. Universal render pipeline. Change surface offset code. Move texture offset code UT. Let's try that. Can I do main texture offset then? Texture offset. Oh, it's a get set. Okay. I can do main texture offset. Offset. Okay. Go back to Unity. And we play. And still nothing. I go here. Drift Pokebot over to here. So what we have here go here, the offset for the Y, yes. So that should Like if 4, 5, 6. So that should be changing the offset. If the universal render pipeline's completely changed everything. Visual Studio. Scanline material. Dot. Yeah, I'm trying to work out how this works. Okay, let's try doing all this. They're saying use base map. Let's save that. Play. Very slow, but I think that is working. Yes. So, if I switch over to game mode and I come up to the screen, can you see the scan lines moving down? Now, I should say, this is not CRT, this is an LCD, but it's also a 3D game, so an LCD can have scan lines. My world, I make the rules. But yeah, we have an animating texture. So, the next thing is we want a plane for the glasses. And we want a plane for... Yeah, we want a plane for the glasses, and we want a plane for the rest of the face. Probably a plane for the glasses, a plane for the eyes, and a plane for the mouth. But looking at the time, I think I'm going to call the stream there and maybe do that on Wednesday and get everything else working. Now maybe I'll mess around tomorrow, we'll see. But what we're going to do is go and raid, let's raid Flux Logics because they are on and they popped in earlier. So we'll get that going. But I would like to thank you all for coming. I'm a bit faceless now, but hopefully you have enjoyed the stream. I want to thank everyone for coming in and everyone who has came along with Avar's raid. Thank you to Avar's for raiding. And yes, this stream is going. The Pilkybot is going. I can move around, I can look up, I can look down, I can reset myself. So yeah, this is pretty cool, wouldn't you say? But I'm hoping to be able to do a bit more on this over time. If I can get the face and the facial animations working, then it'll be fairly good for now, and then I can do some more focusing on Streamline because that really has fallen behind. But we will see what happens when we get the face back on. And yes, until next time, Wednesday is when we will be finishing next streaming, and I'll be doing the face on the Pilkybot and maybe a bit more. As always, happy coding.